last 2 levels. Let's do this. All right. All we have to block is 10 damage. Easy peasy. Is burst any good here? It's quite good with blur. I think we're actually going to keep that. We're gonna get rid of this one. Everything else looks pretty juicy. Make him do less damage. Footwork. Burst. Blur. Sucker punch. Survive. Now we have 51 block to work with this turn. We literally don't have to use a single block this turn. Unfortunately, that's all we have. But because we used burst before we used blur, it does count twice. So it's the one positive we can work with here. Even though this is a lot of damage, 18, that's, you know, 30 damage there. We really don't have to worry about it. Was really hoping for burst there, but it hasn't even cycled yet. We're gonna just keep blur going. Just no matter what. They have the exact same HP, so it really doesn't matter. So far, so good. Weaken him. $36 damage. It's gonna have 11. Damn, it's really close. I think it's good enough. He comes back to life, but we have him guaranteed to be dead. Now we have 4 blurs. Draw first. Perfect draw. Wow. That was like a 6% chance. It's like 50% times 4. 50, 25, 12.5. 6.25. That was a 6.25% chance. That's crazy. They just keep coming back. There we go. That card is really good in the deck. Like, it might be good enough to actually put in our deck. This is like the poison card. Like, imagine if we have 20 poison on a guy, we catalyst him, triples it, gets to 60, and then we get the corpse explosion one. That's 180 damage. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. So neither of these cards, upgrading them really makes a substantial difference, so we're just gonna play it safe and get max HP for the final boss. Final boss hype! This one's actually okay for us. What we really want is burst here. That's what we really, really want. This is already draws, so we're going to keep those. And just in case it doesn't go the way we want, we have some block against him. So what we're going to do here, since it's the final boss of the entire game, we're going to go ahead and use our dexterity potion. We're going to use artifact. I don't know if these guys will debuff me. I don't know if he does. I think he does. But we don't care about that. Luckily, this guy is actually a perfect boss for us because we don't have many powers. The only power we have is Noxious Fumes. A power is the one that we equip, and it just gives us a buff here. So we don't have any of those. Now, if this would have been my 6 dexterity run, or 6 footwork run, might have been an issue, but this guy is actually a perfect guy for us to face. We really don't care about him healing 10 each turn anyway, because once the poison stacks up on him, it does not matter. Okay. We really want to kill these guys ASAP, because they're the ones that get, once they use the buff, they get the 3 strength each turn. So we really want to actually focus on killing these guys first before worrying about him. What we will do is we will actually use Terror on one of these guys. Think about this boss. Whenever we kill him, he comes back, he awakens, and he gets more health. So using Terror on him is not that great because it's just going to go away once we kill him. And considering we want to kill these guys first, we're going to actually use it on this guy. And we did it on this guy instead of this guy because he has the lower health. So we're going to target him first, considering it's going to be easier to kill him first. We're going to draw again. Perfect. That's actually a very good draw. We're going to actually... I think we have enough... I'm considering to use Sucker Punch on him anyway, just to get weak procced on him. Let's just see how it goes. That's really good. The reason I did that is because we had Blur up, it gives us more block than we would have. We have 10 more block than we would have otherwise, so we don't have to give a crap about using any defense spells. So if I do this, I can actually get rid of that. We're going to use Noxious Fumes. This will make him do a little more damage, but that's okay. 6 poison, so he automatically dies. And we're going to Blur again. That way we have this block for the next turn. Okay, definitely footwork. First. Defend. That's why we used... That's why we used Blur. Okay. So we can make him do less damage again. This is where Catalyst is really good. We are going to take some damage here, which isn't what we want, but we really need to kill this guy, so I'm actually going to Catalyst him. Okay. Always draw first. Don't take damage when you don't need to. Alright. We want to have enough HP to make sure we're safe in the second phase of the battle. And because we're probably going to take a shit ton of damage here. Good thing we got that card. That was actually a very lucky draw. Okay. The more we can keep our block up, the less we see. This is why. 40 damage, but we have 35 block already. Can even weaken that to make it do way less. We can actually proc his second form right now. And that's perfect considering we have Blur for another turn. Okay, we have to wait. Okay. Can weaken him. Start the poison again. Defend. Draw first. Perfect match. 21-21. This does more damage. Actually, it doesn't do more damage. I'm actually stupid because this would have done 20. But the draw lets us get another weak on him, so I'm actually not... That it was a misplay that turned into a fortuitous draw that worked out in our favor. Okay, so only 11, so we can go ahead and burst. We want more poison on him, and then blur so that it activates twice. And then we're gonna go ahead and defend again. Draw first. Nope, we want to get rid of that one. Blur again. We don't want to get rid of the poison on him right now. The more we keep Blur up, the more that we are safe from his damage, because we have guaranteed killing him in 3 turns. And we did it!
You win!
And there you go. It was a pretty good run. Pretty solid. I'm really happy that I was able to make it all the way through a run while explaining my decisions for you guys. So hopefully this kind of gives you an idea of the decision making and how complex the game can be. So it is a very complicated game whenever you really get into it, but the main points to take away are, whenever you're playing as the Silent, don't take damage that is unnecessary to take, especially at the beginning of the axe. Now, if you're on the boss, of course, you can take some damage and be a little more liberal with that, because you regain all your health at once you start the next act. But you really want to focus on being defensive as much as you can, especially early in the axe, and then base your deck around one thing, whether it be poison and defense, or whether it be a Shiv build. We were actually kind of able to mix in discard and poison with that build, so that was kind of cool, and that was kind of new for me. Other than that, you don't want to overinflate your deck. We only had, I think, 25 cards at the end there, and that's kind of a sweet spot. Once you get to around like 30 plus, you start kind of having too many cards, and you're like, I really want this specific card to draw this turn, but there's a far less chance of you drawing it the more cards you have in your deck. So keep your deck smaller. Anywhere between 20 to 26 is really the good range. Other than that, some terms will play themselves, but sometimes you really need to think about which of the two routes do I want to go. Do I want to play more defensive, or do I want to do more damage? You know, am I setting up for a kill next turn? Things like that. So there's a lot of pros and cons, and then even then you have to really decide which order am I going to do certain things in. As you saw in this run, I did make a couple mistakes. Fortunately for me, they weren't mistakes that ended up with me dying later in the run, but there were mistakes that I made. It is difficult to play a perfect run, as evidenced by that, but I was able to set my deck up well enough without taking damage early in runs to where those mistakes didn't really cost me enough later to really hinder me. So it just goes to show you everything that goes into the game. The cool thing about the game is that every run is different, considering that it is I want to say RNG based, but just it's random. I think is a better word here for which cards you're gonna get. I did get slightly lucky that I got a lot of cards that fit around that build. The relics that dropped worked perfectly with my deck. the discards we were able to utilize because of the certain relics that we had. So it was very, very, very... It was a well-played run for the most part, and we did get slightly lucky, so it all came together really nicely. So that was a fun run for me. I was able to do something a little different, and I hope that you guys kind of learned something new or enjoyed my commentary on why I'm making certain plays. I hope that you guys learned new things. And yeah, I am glad that I did that. I've always wanted to kind of do that in this game, and I'm glad that I was able to kind of dedicate an entire run to really walking through each step that I take, my decision making on certain things. And it is important to kind of step forward and say, hey, I made a mistake here, because it makes you learn to not, you know, you're more consistent, you know, with not making those same mistakes the next run. So you have to make mistakes to learn in any facet of any game or even life. Let's tone it down a couple notches, Gilga. That's a little deep for a video game. But yeah, I really enjoy doing that for you guys. Let me know if you want more of that in the future.